Hey, Battalion Chief Jack Crandell here. We're going to be resurrecting the old segment Rags to Wrenches. We're going to call it the Rags to Wrenches sequel in honor of Greg Wakeman, who started this segment years ago on Frontline. Just as a tool for us to get information out on our apparatus and maybe some of the things that you can be doing to better maintain your rigs, or a chance to address any of the questions you might have on our fire apparatus. And we'll work with the City Garage and Fleet Management to ensure that we have all the tools that we need to maintain our trucks. Today what I want to do is we're in receipt of two new rigs, Engine 21 and Engine 19. Both of those rigs are in the city. And I want to just go over the trucks and just show you some of the new specifications and features and some of the improvements that we made to hopefully make your life a little bit easier out there in operations. So we'll go over Engine 21. Some of the quick features that we've changed on these trucks. Our new standard for city engines is going to be 750-gallon tanks. But this Engine 21 is a transition engine, and it has 1,000 gallons. So that does make the trucks a little bit taller. Engine 21 actually has a longer wheelbase because of the bigger tank. But we'll go around the truck and just show you some of the features. I'll go around the outside first, and we'll take a look at the inside, where we've also made some seating changes, which I think you're going to like. So first of all, the trucks have a Detroit diesel DD13 motor, 500 horsepower. Engine 21 is 47,000 pounds, which keeps it under the threshold of 50,000 pounds, so it has a top speed of 65 miles per hour. It's got an Allison 4000 transmission, and some of the mechanical stuff, I won't get into all that because I'm no expert in mechanics, and Doug and the guys at the garage can answer those questions for you. But what we've done on these rigs is you'll see that Engine 21 is a little bit taller because of the larger tank. Again, it's 1,000 gallons. We'll go through the inside here in a minute. The couple of the features that we changed due to some of the comments that we received from the field, you'll notice no speed trays. Okay, we've gone back to a traditional crosslay, which I think you're going to like. The NFPA netting that's required for the restraint on the hose, on the crosslay hose bed. We have a very easy one handle operation, so you can get access to your crosslays. So moving right along to the rest of the truck, since the decision was made to move the SCBA out of the officer seat, we've designed this P3 compartment to be able to hold all of the equipment that you might need for the officer. The way we designed this is you have a slide out tray that comes out. Obviously your SCBA will be in here in this spring bracket, and you also have all the room that you would need to keep your helmet. The officer can even keep his turnout gear here, so due to the lack of leg room in the truck. So once you get the rig, you'll figure out what the best way is for you to maintain this. The middle bracket is movable left and right, so you'll be able to adjust it to suit your needs. So all in all, I think it's a very good solution, and hopefully you'll be happy with that. Underneath is just 3 water can tubes or extinguisher tubes underneath this. This compartment is bigger than Engine 19 due to the increased wheelbase. This is where you gain your extra space. So Engine 19 won't have this extra space underneath here. Another feature that we added is this compartment here. We saw this at the Chiefs Conference a couple of years ago. They call this long tool storage, and what it is just an area for you to store some of your maybe short hooks, irons, whatever it might be that you want to store in this compartment. It's just extra storage that you can use to put the things that you might need to use during your operation. So good addition to the truck there. Rear compartment, really no change. One shelf in the middle, and that shelf is adjustable as well, so you can make that work for you. In a few minutes, I'll demonstrate the ladder rack. You'll see these ladders are very high. I'm 5 foot 10 inches tall, so it's not really possible for me to remove the ladders from the truck. They are on a ladder rack, and once I get the batteries turned on, we'll show you how the ladder rack operates, and I think you're going to like it. It's a new Zyco ladder rack, which we found to be very user-friendly. All right. Okay, so moving around to the rear of the truck. When we went to the Pierce plant, we found some deficiencies here in the back of the truck. This top step up here was not here. There was simply a triangle step in the corners. So we had Pierce add a full width step on the truck. and what it does is makes it much easier when you're packing hose, and just gives you a lot more area to stand when you're doing those types of things. We also had handles added to the top of the back of the truck there, just for increased safety. In here you have your pike poles and your attic ladder there. And again, on the hose bed cover, we've seen some issues over the years where people are having trouble with the hose bed covers. Again, this is simply do that, you have full access to your hose bed. So it's just, you know, with the height and everything, it's a little bit easier just to have one single mechanism to get to your hose bed. Okay, so moving around to the driver's side of the truck, not a lot of new features on this side of the truck, but you do have compartments that are similar to what you're used to. We do have the compartment here in D2 that has your tool board. The apparatus team will be out to help mount the equipment and get the truck ready for service, so that'll be happening very soon. One thing we did do on these trucks is we did change the deck gun to a TFT deck gun. We've gone to task force tips on a lot of our nozzles, so we decided to make the switch to the task force tips deck gun, which is much more user friendly, and in a future segment we will show the operation of the deck gun, and it's much seems to be much more user friendly than what we're currently using. What we're using is good stuff, but this just makes it easier for you. All right, your engineer's compartment, again, full depth compartment, full height, full depth, plenty of room here to store things in. So I think you'll find that very user friendly as well. One thing I will hit while we're right here, in this compartment here, many of you haven't seen it. This is not a fuel fill. This is for diesel exhaust fluid, or DEF, okay? The fuel fill is back here. The fuel tank on this truck is 75 gallons. The DEF tank up here is 4.5 gallons. With EPA regulations, DEF fluid, DEF, diesel exhaust fluid, is required for emissions, okay? It reduces the emissions from the fire truck and just improves overall general air quality. So this is going to be new for a lot of you. Most of the city fuel sites now have DEF that you can get from a dispenser, and you will also receive a container so you can store a spare couple of gallons of DEF in the station. So just know that if your diesel exhaust fluid runs out in your truck, the truck will not run. It will shut down. Pump panel layout is changed somewhat in order to accommodate the request for the crosslays again. We've redesigned the pump panel a little bit. Both of your master pressure gauges are found up top here. We think that it's very user friendly, very clean. As we look at other trucks that are at the plant, this is a very clean pump panel and very easy to use. So I think you'll find that to your benefit. A lot of all the lights on the truck are LED lights. They use very little power. Everything is 12 volts, so you're not operating off an inverter. The truck uses very little power. It still has a load manager just in case you get in a situation where you're losing voltage, and it will shut down some unnecessary items on your truck while you're operating. Okay, on the front of the rig, you have your regular trash line and your front suction, just like you do on all of your other trucks. One big change that we did do on engine 17, we changed to LED headlights. Okay, the feedback that we got from 17 was just overwhelmingly in favor of the LED headlights. They couldn't figure out what in the heck was going on when they were going down the road at night, because these lights were so bright and gave them such good visibility. So that's going to be a standard for us from now on. That's pretty much the outside of the truck. We can take a look at the inside. All right, not a lot has changed with the driver's controls. You can see you still have all your standing gauges in front. To the right, you have your command zone, which gives you information about the truck. And most of your controls are in the same place as they have been in the past. We've also added the defroster fans. For whatever reason, for a few years we stopped adding the fans to the truck, so we have done that now as a result of feedback from the field. And your emergency light controls still overhead of the driver, very similar to what you've had in the past. One area that we have a significant change is the seating arrangement in the jump seat area of the truck. Again, we listened to feedback from operations to try and figure out what's best for you. So what we did is we went with a 5-seat arrangement. The entire cab has 5 seats versus what we're used to with 6. Where your typical rear-facing jump seats were located, we now have 2 roll-up compartments, okay? This compartment over here is designated as the ALS compartment. The compartment actually locks down here at the bottom. There's a locking mechanism where your padlock will go on the bottom of the compartment there. So your drug box and IV box will be located inside this compartment. You can also put your intubation kit and whatnot inside this compartment. It will remain locked. This compartment on the other side will have your AC power, so you can power any chargers that you might have on your rig, and you know, be able to have the access to those things easily from inside the cab. In the center is what's designated as helmet storage according to NFPA. So area that you can put your helmets in if you so choose. We're also going to put hooks in for your helmets, but you can store paperwork, any of the books and manuals that you might be carrying with you. The jump seat arrangement is 3 across the rear. All seats are forward facing. The 2 outside seats, as you can see, have fold down seats, but they are full size seats. Okay, one thing that we did do on these trucks, we've had back and forth on the siren and air horn switches for the officer. There's not a lot of floor space here, so the old floor buttons, we figured, you know, we'd do something different. The buttons up here, they just wouldn't work with how this truck is designed. So we've had the mechanical siren and air horn button up here on the top control panel, easily reachable from the officer's seat, and we just think it's a better option, a more clean option, and it still gives the officer the option to be able to use those devices. One other thing that we did do is we added a very simple handle to the door hinge, okay? What this does is just gives you, not so much in the officer's seat because you also have this handle here, but it's on all 4 doors. The jump seats are much easier to get in by just grabbing that handle and pulling yourself up into the jump seat versus what you've been used to. Something very simple. You'll be surprised how much difference that'll make in assisting you getting up into the truck. Going on here at the garage now, they're doing some ladder testing, but I just want to demonstrate to you the ladder rack that I discussed earlier. So it's a simple activation switch, okay, and the ladder rack comes down like this. Yeah, if you can see, there's a warning light, amber light there, that just lets you know that the ladder rack is in motion. Okay, and you can see again, this truck is taller than engine 19, which are the 2 new rigs, and I'm a 5'10" person, so that's at a comfortable height for me to be able to remove the ladders from the truck. You do have 1 hard suction on this side of the truck, and 1 on the top on the other side. It gives you easier access to have it on the ladder rack here. So, you know, we thought a good solution. Seems like it's going to be very workable for us. Okay, just to close out, I hope you enjoyed the tour of Engine 21. Engine 19 is basically exactly the same, and again, it's also here in the city, and we're going to get some training scheduled and get both of these trucks out to the field just as soon as possible, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. But with the resurrection of this segment, we ask that you please send us your comments, your questions. I know there's a lot of questions about how fleet management works and what the garage wants us to be doing and what they don't want us to be doing. So please send your questions. We would like to address them on air so everybody gets to get that information. So please feel free to email me at the address on the screen. And next month, I hope to introduce you to the entire apparatus team. Those are your go-to guys. They know what they're talking about, and we'll get you introduced to them and make sure that you have their contact info as well. Thank you very much. See you next month.